Hey everyone, welcome back to LightHearted Season 3. I'm Britton.
And I'm Rachel. Today we're diving into something that feels personal but somehow very universal. What happens when dreams change? When the thing you thought you were building your whole future towards just doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah, or when you achieve the dream that you had and then for some reason it still just doesn't feel right. Or maybe you never even started chasing it because fear got in the way. This episode is about finding new dreams and being brave enough to go after them, even when it means starting over.
Yeah.
All right, I thought we could just start out kind of talking about why dreams might change. Like you're on one course and all of a sudden you feel like you need to shift to another course. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So I guess over the course of your life, why have things shifted for you? Or what was like the event that made you switch gears?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is just like growth and maturity and just like finding who you are. And I think that that's going to come at all stages of life. You're just going to grow and the world changes and your environment changes. And so of course your dreams are going to change and that's okay. And you can adapt to that. For me, I feel like I grew up in a very small town with a large family and I love it. I love it so much. So I always thought that I just had this conversation with someone the other day. I was like, small town, homeschooled girl. Like I just thought I was going to get married at 20 and have kids and that was going to be my life. And so because I thought that that's what my life was going to be and that's what I was around, that became my dream. Does that make sense?
Totally.
And like I wanted it. It wasn't like I was like, no.
It's not being like forced on you.
No, not at all. It wasn't like people were like, that was their expectation. It was just kind of like, this is what we do. And like, I was okay with that because I love kids and yeah.
Yeah.
But getting older and then like our family started fostering and all of that. And so I think that just like being around kids, don't get me wrong. Like I still love them and I love being around them. But I was like, like there's other things that I could do. And I kind of got a taste of that dream a little bit. You know what I mean? Like buy baby stuff and take kids on vacation and like all of that. And I still do love it. But like I got a taste of it and I'm like, like I want that in the future, but I don't want that right now.
Yeah. I think that's cool too when you get like a taste of your dream and you're like, maybe that's not for me at this moment in time.
At this moment or at all.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, or at all. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I completely agree. I was thinking about like times that I failed and how that kind of would like shift me to a different path. Not to be like, oh, I failed at that thing, let me jump over to this thing.
Yeah.
But I would say like my failures either like made me work harder to achieve that dream, or it was more like, okay, I would fail, but I would learn a lesson along the way that was like, maybe this other thing's more for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I relate to that.
Yeah.
For sure. Because I wanted to get married by 21. That was my little childhood
internal
goal.
Date.
Yeah. And then that wasn't happening. It was like, okay, maybe this is just not meant to be right now. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And so. Yeah.
Still, it's hard.
It's
hard when your dream's like, nope, not right now.
Not right now. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I think looking back, though, I'm really grateful for the dreams that didn't work out. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think sometimes, like another reason that dreams don't work out is that sometimes that dream was just never ours to begin with.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't supposed to be for us, but we felt like we needed to do that thing, or like we really thought that's what we wanted.
Yeah.
But that dream just wasn't for us.
Yeah. So it is totally okay for your dream to change. That does not mean you failed. It means that you grew.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's so true. Like you learn more about yourself.
Yeah.
If you think back to like your first real big dream, which it sounds like you kind of already touched on it, who gave you that first dream? Was that you or was that somebody else? Like where did it come from?
Well, like I said, like I grew up in a small town, so like that's what people did, and so like that's what my family members were doing.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't think it was like an expectation, like this is what you're gonna do, but I think it was just like, this is what we do. And then also, I was a big YouTube kid, and I loved watching family vloggers. That was my favorite thing ever. And so the ripe age of 10 years old, you know, watching all these people like getting married and having kids and
loving it
and filming every second of it. I was like, I would love to do that. Like, that's just what I want. So I think that's where it came from.
I like that. I think that makes sense. My first dream was to be like a Princess Barbie rock star, and that was all me, just so you know.
I love that.
That's like, no one was imposing that on me. I wanted that.
Yeah.
It didn't work out, but
I mean, when I was 8, I wanted to be Hannah Montana. So like,
did that not work out for you?
it didn't. I tried.
Dang it.
I tried.
Did you get like a blonde wig? You were just doing the whole thing.
Oh, I had so many things, and I had performances, and it was I was writing songs. They were not good.
I love that.
Yeah.
We could have had a band. In another life, we could have had a band.
My 8th birthday was Hannah Montana themed, all out. My bedroom was all purple Hannah Montana. I actually have a picture. I found a photo of it. So I'll insert that somewhere or put it in the in the description. Please. Because it's just really funny.
I love that. That's so cute. We're going to kind of move into our next segment, but just kind of a question for listeners to be thinking about is one that I've had to kind of think about as I've transitioned in my life from thing to thing. What would it feel like if you were able to release old dreams without feeling guilty? So that's kind of leading into our next little part here. So I don't want this topic to sound too cavalier, like, your dreams changed. You just need to move on and get over it. Everything's fine. Like, we don't want it to sound like that at all. Mm-mm. Like, we know it's hard. We've both done it in our lives, like where we've really had to like move from something that was really big and important to us to something else.
Yeah.
So we don't want to just like sweep it under the rug and pretend it's not a big deal. So there is absolutely no doubt some grief involved in losing a dream or even choosing to leave that dream behind. Like, there's grief. You're going to be sad. You're going to feel your feelings.
Definitely.
Let's talk about maybe the tools that we've used to kind of maybe work through the grief that goes with that.
Yeah,
for
sure. I think the first thing that was helpful for me is just to acknowledge the loss. Even when we know it's the right move, walking away from an old dream can really hurt. And so just like acknowledging that, like, hey, it's okay. Like, you don't just have to ignore that it hurts. You know what I mean? So I think it's okay to take time to grieve that dream. And yeah, it's totally okay.
I love that. Have you, like, how do you grieve? What do you do? How do you grieve your dreams?
Grieving my
I'm all about like a good sadness bath.
I cry a lot.
Good. Love that.
But I think the biggest thing is like, I think it was really hard in the beginning of grieving my first dream, not the Hannah Montana dream, the married and kids dream. It was really hard because at that point I didn't have another dream. And like, I knew that like this was not happening on the timeline I wanted it to. And there was nothing else. Like, I had nothing else that I was like, it's okay. Like, I know this is hard, but like, I have this that I'm chasing. It wasn't that. It was like, this isn't happening. What do I do? So I felt very stuck. And so that was really, really difficult. So I think it's important to like find your other dreams because they're out there, you know? And so I know it's easier said than done, especially in the moments where you're waiting. That's not the most fun thing ever. But just my biggest thing is like just God and just knowing that like there's a time and a season for everything. And like, this is not my season for this to happen. And so just trying to be okay with that.
Like, no matter how badly you wanted it.
No matter how badly you wanted it or wanted even in that moment, it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, this is not supposed to happen right now, and just trying to be okay with that. And some days are easier and some days are really hard, but.
Yeah. I like that a lot. One that's kind of coming into my brain right now. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm really big on like neutral thinking or something. And I've only talked about it like 14 times. I'm so sorry. But I feel like pros and cons lists help me to find my neutral thinking.
Yeah.
You know? And so like with my previous dreams that I've had, like I've made like a pros list of having it and a cons list. So it's like, okay, like when I achieve this thing, then I can have this, this, and this, but it's at this cost.
Yeah.
And like these things would suck. And so then I'm able to be like, oh, okay. Like I can kind of see it both ways and I can like think more logically instead of like feeling really sad about it. I can be like, oh no, like that would suck if I had to give up this thing that I love so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I feel like it helps me to like get back into my own brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that. I think that's really cool too, because I think for me, like I'm noticing that like when the real dream is there that I want to chase right now, and that's like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, the pros and cons list, like I can look at it and be like, holy cow, that's a lot. but I'm willing to sacrifice all of this.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're not.
Yeah.
And so maybe it's not time for that dream.
Yeah.
But,
or your dream's not big enough yet.
Or it's not big enough yet.
Yeah.
Where it's like, sometimes it's like, wait, I'm willing to sacrifice all of these things for this.
That's a big deal.
That's a big
deal. That
deal.
shows you how important it is to you. Yeah. I like that a lot. That's so good. I think for me as well, when I have a dream, I kind of build my whole vision around who I would be once I have that dream. You know, so I'm like, oh, once I get this thing, then I'll look like this and I'll feel like this and I'll have these people around me and blah, 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 blah. And so I think oftentimes for me, letting go of the actual dream isn't the hard thing. It's letting go of the identity that I've created around achieving that thing.
Holy cow, yeah.
Like that is so hard for me to let go of. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else does. I mean, obviously you do, but like I would fully have moments where I'd sit there in my bed and just like fully envision the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, here's what I'm doing. Here's what my house looks like. Here's my daily routine. Here's my kids. Here's their names.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to grieve that.
Yeah.
And that is not
it's like,
easy.
It's this whole life that you've built in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think oftentimes that's harder than just being like, oh, well, like I just won't have this thing then, I guess.
Agree.
It's like, oh, I'm missing this and this and this. I'm
like
missing all of it.
It's like the I miss my future kids thing.
Yeah.
Like that's a big thing.
It's a huge thing. Yeah. Yeah. I agree. So yeah, I think finding ways to kind of grieve the entire structure that you've built and not just the one piece.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure.
So whatever that looks like, I think like people like to journal. I think taking a sadness bath helps. I think crying helps. I think talking about it helps.
For sure.
Yeah. Like sharing that it was a dream that you had and now you're sad. I think that helps a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we expect moving on from a dream should feel freeing. And eventually it does. But at first, it can feel like identity whiplash.
That's so true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so true. We've been wanting to sprinkle in. This is new. This is new this season.
I love a new thing.
I love new things. We have been wanting to like sprinkle in more questions for you guys to kind of think about because we've noticed that when we're listening to podcasts, like, you know, they can talk at us all day and that's great. But when they start like really making us think, it does. It makes us like sit there and think about our lives and like how we can apply what we're listening to. So we thought we would include just a few little questions here and there.
I love that. One of my favorite things is having to pause a podcast so that I can think.
Yeah. Yeah. To be like, oh crap, what?
Yeah. I've done that so many times.
Yeah. And then like that activates real change, I think, too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So think about your own dreams in your life. And if you're like driving or something, like pull over if you need to. So think about your own dreams. What part of you is afraid of letting go? And what part of you is ready to move forward? Yeah, I like that one.
Okay, so the next one is, who are you without the dream that you used to chase?
That's a tough question.
That one
hits really hard. Yeah.
Who are you without that dream?
Yeah. Because I think we all have to have like a base person. Yeah. Right? Like you have to know who you are, whether or not your dreams work out. Yeah. Ugh, that one hurts my feelings. And then this is my favorite one because it's kind of like the joy is in the journey idea, right? Yeah. So what have you learned from the pursuit of the dream, even if your dream has changed or you haven't reached it or it's just not for you anymore? What did you learn while you were pursuing that dream?
Yeah. I think with that one too, like even if it's a dream you're still chasing, it's really cool because we often think, you know, when it's something we want really bad, it's like, I just want it right now. Like, give it to me right now, overnight. Like, and it's so hard to go through weeks and months and years of pursuing something, but it is so important. Like, you learn so much and you grow and you have time to, maybe you're not ready for that dream yet. And so the season of waiting, you know, quote unquote waiting, is you learning things you need for the season that lies ahead.
Oh, that was really good. That was really good.
Thank you.
I love that. Yes, I agree with all of that. I even think, like, just to take it really surface level here, like the things that we've learned in the last year, making this podcast. Like, I would just love to have all of you go back and listen to our very first episode, because
please don't.
It seriously, like, seeing our growth and like the tools that we've picked up, like we've, been building and waiting.
Yeah.
And like, we needed to be ready for like what lies ahead. I love that so much.
The growth is crazy. Yeah, you can go back and watch it, but
but it's embarrassing. It's so embarrassing.
But it's not, because
it's a growth.
It's a growth thing.
It's a growth thing.
But if you're gonna send this podcast to anyone and like, hey, go listen to LightHearted, don't send them the first episode.
Send them this one.
Send them this one, or like season 2.
Yeah. But yeah, like, even just with things like that, like,
I've learned so much that I am already using in
the tools
other
are
aspects
insane
of my life.
Yeah.
I think it's important to note that just because you move on from one dream doesn't necessarily mean it's just over for you. You're always allowed to find a new dream.
Yeah. And isn't that so cool?
It's so cool.
I just love that. So you do not have to have it all figured out. I think one big thing that I have picked up in life is that clarity comes from action. It doesn't come from just sitting around hoping something will fall in your lap. Like, it doesn't come from that. Like, clarity comes from action. I even think, like, if you are someone who's religious, like God likes action too, right? And so, like, if you're taking steps toward what you think is right, and then you're like counseling with him along the way, like, you're gonna know if you're going in the wrong direction.
For sure.
Like, you're not gonna go in the wrong direction for long. Yeah. And so I think, clarity comes from action. So make moves, take steps toward what you want, and then see if it feels right. And if not, like, you can pivot. You can always move and like do something different, but you have to do something.
Yeah, you can't just sit and wait.
Because it's not going to happen. It's not going to fall in your lap.
No.
Yeah. You know that.
I know that.
I know that.
Sure. We know that for sure. I think that's really good advice, because I even knowing that like God likes action and like it's important to take steps towards things, I would still be like, okay, God, if this is for me, do something about it, and I would be sitting on my hands. I wouldn't be doing anything. And so it was finally like just someone telling me like, no, you have to do something. And so even just taking the smallest step, and then God was like, okay. And then here's this.
Like, oh, you're ready for more now.
You're ready for more now. Here you go. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's hard and it's scary, but like, it's so much more empowering when you can take that step.
Yeah.
When you're scared. We've talked about this a lot.
Yeah. Do it scared.
Like, do it scared.
Yeah. Take a step. It doesn't have to be a huge step either. It can be making a phone call, which sometimes that's a huge step. But like it can just be a tiny thing.
For sure.
It can be like journaling out what you have in mind, like for your future. Like it can be any small step.
I think for me, what was important was I was like, God, okay, I will take the steps, but like, I need you to show me something that like I'm supposed to take these steps. Like, please just like give me some kind of something that's like, okay,
like, help me to know when the time's right.
Exactly.
Help me to know what I should say.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it works.
It does work.
Doesn't mean it's not scary, but
I think a big part of you too is like you were willing to do whatever he was asking you to do. It's like a willingness to do the thing.
Yeah.
Is it's better than just being like, show me a sign. It's like,
and then sitting on your hands.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I'm ready to do this. I want to make sure I'm going about it the right way. So like, help me out. Yeah. I think that's the difference. I think another good thing is to just like try your best, right? And then you get feedback from the people around you, or from, whatever thing you're working on, or whatever it is. Like, you'll get some kind of feedback, which tells your brain like, yes, this is going well, or no, this isn't going well. And then you can course correct. That's the pivoting we talked about. Like, you can do something different, and then you have to repeat it though. You have to keep repeating those steps until you get what you want. So you can't just like try once and then get some feedback that you don't like and then
give up.
Be like, my course correction is that I quit.
Yeah.
Like, like that doesn't work. And like, we've all done that. I think one example for me was like, I took piano lessons for like 2 straight weeks, and then my piano teacher told me I didn't do a very good job, and I quit, and
That's funny.
I'm sad because I'm not this great piano player now.
I know. I wish I could play the piano. And I took piano lessons, and my dad was like, well, you have to practice or there's no point in going. And I was like, okay. So then I just quit.
Like, I quit. Yeah. And now you wish you were a piano player.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that's I think every single person I talk to that doesn't play the piano wishes they were a piano player.
That's
This
so
part should
beautiful.
resonate with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're somebody who quit playing piano because you thought you sucked for 2 weeks when you were 8 years old and you never went back, this is for you.
And I think it's important to like realize that like there's a difference in like, oh, this path isn't for me. Like I'm getting like
the feedback I'm getting is like this
from
is
God,
not
like
it.
this is not it.
Yes.
And like this is hard, but you still have to push through the hard moments. Like there's a difference. You have to discern it a little bit, but like you're gonna know.
Yeah.
That like
I feel like your gut just knows. Like you just feel it. Yeah. So it's okay to keep trying again and keep trying again and getting more feedback and hopefully do better the next time. Yeah.
I think the last thing that I want to share is that your dream might not feel like this big and shiny thing. It might feel quiet and true.
Yeah, I definitely think sometimes our dreams are just like these little tiny whispers. Like it's not going to be like a billboard smacked in front of your face. Like, hey, this is the thing you need to go do.
Like I'm going to be a rock star.
Yeah, I'm going to be a Barbie rock star.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like that didn't happen, you know? Yeah. But sometimes it's just going to be like a nice little whisper. But I definitely think that the more you lean into whatever it is, the louder it's going to grow.
Definitely.
Like it's not just going to stay quiet forever. You have to lean in first.
Yeah. Okay, we have a few more questions for you guys. The first one is, if no one could laugh at you, what is the dream that you would chase today?
Oh, that's such a good one.
Barbie Rockstar?
Barbie Rockstar.
Yeah.
All day, every day. The next one is, if success were guaranteed, like you could not fail, it was not a possibility, what is something that you would try right now?
Wow. That's a good question.
That is a good question.
Love it.
Would you skydive because you couldn't fail at it?
No. I'd probably be like
you couldn't die.
I'd probably be like an open heart surgeon or something.
I like that yours is like productive and mine's like, are you going to jump? Are you going to do it?
No. Our next one is, what is something that used to feel impossible but now just feels way overdue?
That's a good one. And my favorite one is, what is pulling at you even when you try to ignore it? What's that little nagging voice in the back of your head?
Yeah.
That's telling you you can do more.
It's a good
What
one.
is it saying? Yeah.
So if you would like to answer these questions, we actually have a printable journal page linked in our show notes, completely free. So go print that out or save it on your phone and fill it out.
Yeah, go download it.
Okay, I think now we should talk about not getting too comfortable. I've noticed when I start to get too comfortable in my life, it's really easy for me to not chase the things that I want.
That's real.
So let's talk about what it takes to be willing to run towards your dreams.
I was listening to, have you heard of Ed Milet? I love his podcast. It's all about growth and like health and things like that. He was talking about just the feeling of desperation. Okay, so when you get to a point where like you have to have, like you are desperate for peace, you're desperate for freedom, you're desperate for being yourself, you're whatever it is, like you have to have that desperation in order to make that dream happen.
Yeah.
It's like you have to be like just feeling like you cannot live without this thing. You have to do it.
Yeah.
And so I've kind of been thinking about that a lot, where it's like, what am I desperate for?
Yeah.
And I feel like when I'm feeling too comfortable, it's because I don't have like, I'm like, no, I have everything that I need. I have like I have my husband, I'm sitting in my house, like have a fun podcast. Like we're good.
Right.
I don't need anything. And that's like, it's a great place to be. I'm not complaining at all.
Right.
But I think like once your dream gets to a point where like you cannot live without it, you have to do it, you're desperate for it. I just think that's such a good place to be in.
I agree. I think that goes back to what I was just saying earlier, was like when you lose a dream and you don't have the next one yet, it's so scary and so hard. But sometimes you have to be in that season.
Yeah.
You know, you're desperate for something else. And so
You have to feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I think once you hit that point of desperation too, you stop worrying about the audience.
yeah.
Like, would you still do it even if people were laughing at you? Would you still do it even if nobody liked any of your Instagram posts ever?
Yeah.
Would you still do it if
Yeah.
whatever? Like, I think once you hit that point and you stop caring what other people think, like, that is when you know it's really important to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's important to remember that like desperation isn't always a weakness. it can be a launch pad to something else in your life. And so we've talked a lot about that in the hard seasons, that's when we grow. That's when we learn things. And so I think it's important to remember that desperation can be that.
I think there comes a point when the pain of staying small finally outweighs the fear of looking stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it takes a while, but it does happen. And that's when everything shifts. So if you want to do something different for your life, you don't need to wait for permission. You need to want it bad enough to make a move, even if you're just absolutely shaking in your boots.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So more questions for you guys. If you're sitting out there trying to think about what your dream is or how you can accomplish it, let's ask you some questions.
Yeah.
So what would you do if you weren't worried about how it looked? If you weren't afraid of looking stupid on social media, if you weren't worried about your aunt making fun of you, whatever it is, whoever it is, what would you do if you weren't afraid of how it looked?
The next one is, what if you looked at failure as a part of the proof that you were brave enough to even try it in the first place?
I like that one a lot. We've talked about that before too, where it's like failure isn't your like final resting place. That's not it.
No.
I love that. Our final one for this little portion here is, who is the future version of you that's cheering you on right now? So think of you in the future. What did that person do to get to that point? And what would they say? I know, I'm going to cry. I'm like, do it for her. Yeah. So what would future you who's cheering you on, what would they say? What are they doing? What do they look like?
That's crazy.
I love that one.
I love that. That's so good. I think it's cool, like, if you have a hard time with that, to think about what you've already accomplished and think about past you and how excited past you would be at where you are now. So just think about future you and like, what does she have to tell you?
Yeah. Like, how pumped is she for you?
Because like, I know for me, like, everyone's different, but I know for me, like, the growth in the last year and a half, like, if I could sit down with me a year and a half ago and tell her what's going on in my life right now, she would be ecstatic. Like, she'd be like, holy crap.
Like we've grown so much.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
She wouldn't believe it. And so to think about, like, what does Rachel from a year and a half from now have to tell me? Like,
that's crazy.
Who knows? If you're listening right now and your dream is shifting, know this. You're not lost. You're just recalibrating. You're finding something better and something that is truer.
And if it's terrifying, that's okay.
Yeah.
That means it really matters to you.
Yeah.
That's what that means. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We believe in your ability to start again, to dream differently, to want something new, and to not be afraid to go for it.
Yeah.
All right. So this week, ask yourself, what is one small risk you can take in the direction of your new dream? So think about what your new dream is. What is one tiny little thing that you can do? And then what's one old story about yourself that you can leave behind? Season 3 starts here, and we're so glad you're with us.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you're enjoying LightHearted, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It really helps us reach more people who need a little more light in their lives.
And make sure you head on over to Instagram. You can find us over there at LightHeartedPod for all kinds of episode information and behind the scenes content. We have a lot of fun over there. We would also love to hang out with you guys over on TikTok.
We also have merch.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
So go check it out. All of our links to everything we just said will be linked down below in the show notes.
As well as the journal prompts that we mentioned earlier.
Yes.
Everything will be down there.
Yep.
Yeah. Stay lighthearted.
This podcast was recorded on Buzzsprout in West Virginia.